Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Harrah's Hoosier Park, the Dan Patch Studio. Michael Chamberlain and Jacob Reinheimer here as we are continuing on the Road to the Derby Challenge. A big week this week, Jacob, with the Arkansas Derby and the Florida Derby, and of course Sovereignty, the winner of the Kentucky Derby last year, coming out of this race. We've got a really strong field of 9 we're going to take a look at.
Yeah, I think a number of horses you can make a case for. I thought this one a little deeper at the top for the Florida Derby, so excited to dive into it.
And let's take a look at that field. We have a field of 9 going postward. They're going to go a mile and an eighth for a purse of $1 million. The 2-1 morning line favorite is number 2, Chief Wallaby, for trainer Bill Mott. The 5-2 second choice is number 4, Commandment, for trainer Brad Cox. And the third choice at 3-1 is number 6, Nearly, for trainer Todd Pletcher. No slouches in that group for sure, as we'll take a look at our selections for the Florida Derby, and we do differ here, Jacob. I like the 4 Commandment, who I didn't pick in the Fountain of Youth, hunting for a price. So now I'm going to try to get back on that bandwagon and see if I can't get Commandment home first here. Buy Into Mischief out of an Orb mare has won 3 consecutive starts, including the last 2 at Gulfstream, the Mucho Macho Man on January 3rd, and the aforementioned Grade 2 Fountain of Youth on February 28th. I know Into Mischief and out of an Orb mare, that sounds strong. I'm wondering if the distance might be a bit of an issue as we're going forward here, but I think Commandment is certainly one that can win on Saturday.
Yeah, he's the one I left off the ticket, just trying to kind of make these exotics a little bit more interesting, but certainly wouldn't shock me from the Brad Cox barn. I went a couple slots over. I land on the 6, Nearly, the winner of the Holy Bull, where our Road to the Derby all began. So I'm going back to the beginning here. Like the Todd Pletcher trainings this weekend in both of these Road to the Derby races, but Nearly, he crushed in that Holy Bull. My nearly 6 lengths at the end of the day. I know there's still some questions about how tough that field was from top to bottom, but that was a big step forward. The first time stretching out for more than a mile, goes a mile in the 16th after he'd won the 2 previous starts at 6 furlongs and 7 furlongs, but he's been a dominant winner in each of the last 3. I think this is a horse that can continue to stretch out, just like the trajectory of this animal as we get closer to the Derby.
Now, the horse I left out that you included as far as the horses that might have a big shot here is the 8, the Puma, who was a surprise winner of the Tampa Bay Derby at odds of 7-1, the Grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby on March 7th. This one is from the barn of Gustavo Delgado. Javier Castellano named to ride by Essential Quality, a former Kentucky Derby favorite that finished 4th in his particular year, and out of a Declaration of War mare. I think this is a very interesting horse. I didn't include the horse, but this one might be one to watch going forward, especially come May 2nd.
Yeah, he was the wild card for me. That's why I threw him on here second, to kind of mix things up, because that Tampa Bay Derby was just such a kind of an eye-opening performance and a really big step forward from what we saw in the Sam F. Davis. But I love the pedigree. I was a big Essential Quality guy. I think I had some money on him, maybe, though I might not have been at betting age yet when I was making that wager in the Kentucky Derby, so we'll keep that between ourselves. But I like the Puma. I think the upside, he got by me in the Tampa Bay Derby. He's the one who got by me that prior start. I'm not going to let it happen again.
And the third pick for both of us is the morning line favorite, number 2, Chief Wallaby, for trainer Bill Mott. Now, this horse was the runner-up in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth behind Commandment, and gave Commandment everything he could give him through the stretch of that race. A very exciting stretch drive through that race, and came from off the pace, so certainly is not going to be forwardly placed, you would think, going into Saturday's Florida Derby, by Constitution out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. So the lineage, I think, is there. Second start off the break, and the only thing that kind of stands out to me is just 2 starts.
And that's what I was going to ask. What do you make of him being the morning line favorite, especially coming up short of Commandment last time out in that Fountain of Youth? I think there's the upside there. I was just a little surprised to see him, of the 3 that I think are going to take the majority of the play, get the slight nod as the morning line choice.
I agree with that, especially given the fact that the horse that beat him is in the same race. But going 2-1, 5-2 there, honestly, that's a coin flip when you're making a morning line out. So I don't really fault making Chief Wallaby the favorite and Commandment a very strong second choice. I think you really could have gone with either one, and I kind of do see why they went with Wallaby based off that last race.
Then once you get beyond those 3 of the horse I round out my ticket with is right next door. It is the 3, Wayne's Law, coming out of the Sam F. Davis, where he was runner-up to Renegade. We talked about the Arkansas Derby. Yes. I like Renegade an awful lot, so I like the horse that finished second to him in the Sam F. Davis. Just a horse that's been in good form, has hit the board in all 5 of his career starts, including a couple starts prior to that Sam F. Davis. where I think he's been racing well. So I think he's just in store for a nice trip. He's got a little bit more gauge speed than some of the main contenders in this race, so I think he'll be put in play early, and I just need him to hold on for a piece underneath.
I'm going to throw a 20-1 shot at you here because number 7, Timeless Victory, was a runaway winner at this distance last time out on March 1st. Now, I understand it's an optional claiming race, which is not the Grade 1 Florida Derby. I understand the caliber of competition, yes. But this horse loves this racetrack. Has been out over the main track at Gulfstream in 5 previous races with 3 wins, 2/3. So I certainly think that Timeless Victory, given the fact that this horse just seems to take to that track, certainly could come up and trundle and be part of the underneath here behind some of the favorites that we've talked about. And again, out of a Nyquist mare, if I'm going to have a big price, 20-1, I'm going to take a horse that likes the track and certainly has shown the propensity to do something at the distance.
Yeah, and with the depth at the top, you've got to take a shot somewhere if you're going to try to make some money in this race. In the exotics, you got to find that price somewhere, and certainly I think you can make a good case there for Timeless Victory.
So Jacob has it 6-8-2-3 going with Nearly on top. I have it 4-6-2-7 going with Commandment on top. But again, it should be a fantastic Florida Derby. Looking forward to a very exciting day of racing tomorrow as the program at Gulfstream is just going to be terrific from top to bottom.
Yeah, and the man at the mic, Gabe Pruitt's favorite announcer down in Florida.
Yes,
of course, Mr.
yes.
Pete Aiello himself.
Mr. Aiello, indeed. Certainly always a great pleasure to hear him call the races, but don't tell the boss I said that.
Absolutely.
So we are rolling to the final week next week of the Road to the Derby Challenge. You still have a chance to get in and take part this week with the 2 races that we mentioned. The Florida Derby, which we just analyzed, and the Arkansas Derby takes place this Saturday as well. And then the season-ending triple header next Saturday with the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass Stakes, and the Santa Anita Derby. Should be a big week next week. But again, the Derby winner could come out of these 2 races that we were talking about here this week.
Yeah, and for the Road to the Derby, it was still 5 races packed into 2 weeks.
Right.
It's anyone's race. There hasn't been much separation in the point standing, so $2,000 on the line for the overall grand champion. Be sure you're still playing along, because even if you got some distance to make up, you can do it over the course of the next 2 weeks.
With the exception of a couple of races, it's been fairly chalky. There have been a lot of favorites win these prep races, which you'd think would narrow the Derby field a little bit, but no, it's so wide open with 5 weeks to go. So it'll be fun, though. We're looking definitely forward to the first Saturday in May, as we always do. So for Jacob Reinheimer, I'm Michael Chamberlain, wishing the best of luck to you all.